My name is Anna-Elise Harvey, and I'm an associate in the Employment and Business Immigration team at Clarion. Right to work checks are something that I'm really frequently asked about, and it's one of the main topics in which my two practice areas overlap with one another. It's extremely important for businesses to know and understand what right to work checks are when recruiting and during the course of employment as well. So I'm going to run through my top 5 FAQs on the subject. For some it will be an introduction, and for others hopefully a refresher. Firstly, a key question, particularly if you're new to the subject, what actually is a right to work check? So essentially it's something that needs to be done by all businesses to make sure that their employees have the correct permission to be in the UK and to do the type of work that the business is hiring them to do. Its purpose is essentially twofold. Firstly, you're assisting the Home Office with its aim of preventing illegal migration to the UK. This also ties in with the protection of vulnerable groups from exploitation and trafficking. Unfortunately, other criminal activities such as these do often go hand in hand with illegal working. The second and perhaps more tangible aim is protecting your business itself. As the offence of illegal working or employing illegal workers as well carries some quite heavy penalties. So that then begs the question, do only certain workers need to have the check done? The short answer to that is no. A right to work check should be completed for all employees before they start work with a company, and that includes British citizens. The slightly longer answer is it's important not to discriminate against people because of their apparent race, skin colour or accent. The right to live and work in the UK can come from a number of places, including naturalisation, family ties, work sponsorship, to name just a few. And it shouldn't be assumed that someone does or does not have the right to work based on their appearance or their accent, for example. Some employees may, however, have a time-limited right to work in the UK, in which case further checks will be needed during the course of their employment. These employees are likely to need to take further steps to extend or renew their permission to work in the UK, and this should be discussed with them in advance of any expiry dates. So why is it so important? Well, firstly, it's the law. As a lawyer, I do occasionally have to say that to people. All employers do have those dual duties of preventing illegal working and avoiding discrimination in recruitment, which I've been talking about. In addition, the consequences of getting it wrong can be catastrophic. If the Home Office finds that your business is employing illegal workers, even by accident, there are a wide range of sanctions that can apply. Having done a correct right to work check, though, before the individual starts work will excuse the business from having to pay a fine. We call this establishing the statutory excuse. If you haven't done it correctly, though, there's a number of things that the Home Office can do. They can issue a civil penalty of up to £20,000 per illegal worker. That's 20,000. In serious cases, they can prosecute for criminal offences. They can revoke any sponsor licence the business may hold. They love to name and shame the business publicly. They release quarterly lists with people who've fallen foul of the rules. They can also even close the business and freeze or even seize assets if they're connected with the illegal working. So on to the practical stuff. How should the check be done? There's actually quite a number of different ways a right to work check can be carried out, although not all of them will be available for every single employee, and which is the most appropriate will depend on the type of permission the individual has. The Home Office continues to work towards fully digitalising its processes, but at the moment the business's options are, firstly, to carry out a manual right to work check in the traditional way by collecting an original document from an individual, such as a British passport. Alternatively, they can carry out an online right to work check using the Home Office's online portal. They might even be able to ask a third party to perform the right to work check using what is called digital identification verification technology. In some cases, it might be necessary to submit a request to the Home Office directly to verify a person's right to work, although that is only available as a temporary measure. There is also a COVID adjusted right to work check available, which enables the whole process to be done over video call. But this is due to be withdrawn on the 30th of September 2022, so in about a week at the time of recording. With these options, there are 3 overarching principles for using any of these methods, and they are obtain, check, and copy. Quite straightforward on the face of it. First, the relevant information must be obtained, whether that's a passport, a share code to use the online portal, or evidence of an ongoing application, just to give a few different examples. Then it has to be checked by an employee of the business in most cases. Employees aren't expected to be experts in detecting fraudulent documents, but they should be looking to make sure, as sure as reasonably possible, the document appears to be genuine, it belongs to the person who is presenting themselves to come and work for you, the details appear consistent, and most importantly, it's valid and it allows the work in question. A copy of the outcome of the check must then be kept on file for the duration of the employment and for 2 years thereafter. I would say the responsibility does remain with the employer in each case, even if it is a third party carrying out the verification, so it's important to get it right. Finally, something I'm often asked is, do you have any practical tips given how important this is? Firstly, immigration law is complex and changes frequently, but unfortunately that's no excuse for the business. I would suggest keeping an eye out for the latest guidance and making sure that all of your staff and all of your policies are up to date. As I mentioned previously, the check should be done for all staff before they start work to make sure that the business is properly protected against a civil penalty. Thirdly, make sure that you are recording the correct information and that the employee is present while you do the check. Recording the correct information ties in with making sure that you have checked the guidance, because that is where it will appear. Finally, if in doubt, do contact myself or my team, Clarion Business Immigration team, for assistance. Thanks for watching.